Hi, everyone. Welcome back to our next day talking about how to be cool in the third grade. Make sure before we get started that you're ready to focus and watch the video. Make sure you have a pen or a pencil and paper, or you have your note-taking page up for the plot diagram so that you can take notes while I'm talking. So, today, we are going to talk about how we can use a plot diagram to make a sequence of events in a story or in our lives. Today, we're going to focus more on making a plot diagram and sequence of events of our life. If you don't know what a plot diagram or sequence of events is, not to worry. We're about to go over it. So, the sequence of events is really just a fancy way of saying the order of events in a story. So you're doing a sequence of events whenever you say something like, first, this happened. Next, this happened. Finally, this happened. You've been doing sequence of events for years, probably just without knowing that it was called a sequence of events. And sometimes we put these sequence of events on a plot diagram. It looks like that to make it easier for people to understand. There are, you can see 5 parts of a plot diagram because there's 5 lines. Here, 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 here. I will be asking you on your plot diagram note-taking sheet to fill in the names of the part of the plot diagram. So this might be a good time to pull that up, or you might want to pause the video at this point and get that up so that it will make it easier for you to complete that assignment. So the first part of a plot diagram is the introduction, which just like in writing or anywhere else that you've seen that word before, you're just introducing the story. So usually in an introduction, you're going to talk about who the characters are, talk about the setting, and maybe like some important things. So like if I was thinking of how to be cool in the third grade, I would probably mention the stories about Robbie and about him going to school in the third grade. And I might say the story takes place both at his house and in his third grade classroom, as well as at the bus. And then the next part is this line right here. That is called the rising action, which is just a fancy way of saying you're introducing an issue in the story. So in How to Be Cool in the Third Grade, I might be talking about the rising action is Robbie really doesn't think he's cool now, and he wants to be cool in the third grade. A lot of times the rising action is where you're introducing what does the main character want by the end of the story to happen. So by the end of the story, Robbie wants to be cool in the third grade. And then the climax is up here. And that just means usually it's the most exciting part of the story, but you can also think of it as the biggest problem in the story. So we know the rising action is Robbie wants to be cool in the third grade. So the climax is what is blocking that problem. And How to Be Cool in the Third Grade, that would be Bo tells Robbie he's bullying Robbie. And so now it's going to be way harder for him to be cool in the third grade. The falling action right here is where the main character starts to solve the problem. So we haven't quite finished the book yet, so I'm not going to give away quite what the falling action is. But in a story, the falling action is when a character starts solving the problem. You start seeing maybe what the solution is. Like this big problem at the top, the climax, doesn't seem so big anymore because they're coming up with the solution. And then this final line is the solution. So the solution is what it sounds like. It's how did the character solve the problem? And a lot of times that's also where we put, like, what lesson did the author want us to learn from this story? So for your worksheet today, you might want to pause my video right here and keep this up because it's going to ask you to fill in these words, and they're right here on the screen for you. It will be super easy. So you are going to make a timeline of your life tomorrow. Not your life, but one event in your life where you had a problem that seemed like it was going to be impossible to solve. So when I did mine, I was thinking about Ms. Hough trying to become a teacher because I remember there were some problems along the way that seemed like maybe I would never be able to solve them. So I did a plot diagram just of this event trying to be a teacher. Remember, the first one is my introduction. And in my introduction, I'm just saying my character and what happened. So I would say Ms. Hough went to college at Western Oregon University. And then my rising action is starting to introduce what I want. So what I want, Ms. Hough decided to become a teacher. There's my rising action. And I started taking classes. And then right here, I started introducing the problem. But I was having a hard time with my math class. And then the climax where the situation seems like impossible, like you can't solve it. Ms. Hough failed her math class and could not find a job to be a teacher. So it seemed impossible. It seemed like I could never become a teacher. And then we get to the falling action where we start finding a solution. Ms. Hough gets a job offer in Las Vegas and looked for a new way to take a math class. So I found an online class I could take to fill my math class requirement, even though I failed the other one, so that I could become a teacher in Las Vegas. And then the solution to the problem is Ms. Hough started teaching at Moore Elementary. So I passed my math class and I got my job right here at Moore Elementary. I could also put in my lesson learned from that, which is maybe if you have a big goal like becoming a teacher, you should never give up, right? And then that's all it is to do my plot diagram. So when you think about doing yours, I want you to think of a time you had a problem and came up with a solution to it, and you will put that on your plot diagram, just like I did here. So today, we thought about using a plot diagram. Remember, that's that introduction, rising action, climax, falling action, solution. We thought of using the plot diagram to make a sequence of events. And remember, sequence of events just means the order that things happened in. So first, next, then last. And we did it both with part of How to Be Cool in the third grade. We can't do the whole book yet because we haven't finished it. And we did it with Ms. Hough becoming a teacher. So that is what you will do on your own today and tomorrow. Until I see you next time, make sure you are keeping learning, doing your work, and I will talk to you soon.